Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. Let me go ahead and check the stream. Go ahead and check the stream. Make sure everything is tawab. Hey, shalom. There it is. All right. So with that, I'm going to start off with saying, Call Haloyim, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Racha, Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone and rule and teach well. Peace and shalom to the Akim out there and the elect, which the elect consists of the men, women, and children selected to make it out of here from the coming nuclear destruction. All right. I'm the brother Zion Olive, the DC camp, coming at you with another video, as I like to often do. If you watched some of my videos through the years, I often like to put reminders of coming high holy days. Every now and then I'll put a reminder of coming high holy days, and I'll put up a kind of like a calendar to help you kind of identify how they come in, even using today's calendar, linking it up with our ancient way of keeping it by way of the moon. We do know that everything is all out of whack, all right, but we try to the best of our ability. Remember, the scripture says there will they rehearse the righteous acts. So that's what we're doing. We're rehearsing the righteous acts. Okay, we do not follow the high holy days according to Esau's calendar. We do it according to the real calendar, okay, which is governed by the moon, and that's scriptural. Okay, before, I might as well get into it, right? Might as well get that. So I'm going to go from here. I know you see Leviticus, but let me pull up the Apocrypha, right? All right, so let me go to, make this a little bigger for me. Go to the Apocrypha, and I'll bring up Sirach. And the Spirit's on me. I know it's about, 11:12 at night. That's what it says, 11:12 p.m. And the Spirit's on me just to touch on this topic. I just wanted to, put something on wax tonight. The Spirit was on me to do it. All right, so this is Sirach 43 and verse, I can go with the sun, but you know what? I want to start with the moon. It says Sirach 43 and 6. He said, He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times, a sign of the world. Okay, a declaration of times. And it says, From the moon is the sign of feast, a light that decreases in her perfection. Okay, right? And it says, The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing. Now, notice it says, The month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing. So soon as the new moon comes in, right? It comes in as a new moon. All right. You don't see anything, it's dark. And then it increases wonderfully in her changing. Then all of a sudden you start seeing the light, the different lights. And with everything, everything goes from right to left. Even in our Hebrews, it goes from right to left. So you'll see the light coming on the moon from right all the way to left. Just the same way how we write. All right. We face the east. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. Everything is from right to left. All right. And shalom, Yahweh Shemel Shabrakta. All right. So it says, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. Why? Because the moon is a light. Like it says, a light, right? Two great lights, a lesser light or a greater light to rule the day and a lesser light to rule the night. So that's why the moon is a light. But it says the moon is the sign of feast. The month is called after her name. Now from here, let me pull up. And these are things that we've brought out through the years anyway, but it's always somebody new out there. This past camp, we posed to the brothers on the outside, right? We posed to them a question, and Some of them couldn't answer. All right. So there's always a reason to go into the scriptures. Okay. There's always a reason to go into the scriptures. Now we're going to bring up Etamon online. Salaki for that. So it says moon, right? It says heavenly body which revolves about the earth, showing you that it's the moon that goes around the earth, right? It even lets you know right here. All right. They'll tell you that the earth is constantly moving around the sun and everything's moving. Okay. No. All right. The sun and the moon are going around the earth. I just want to say that too. The sun and the moon, not just the moon, the sun as well. But you go down there to the word moon, the Greek is mene, moon, min, Latin mensis, month. All right. So the actual word moon means month. That's why it says the month is called after her name. So the real calendar, we follow according to the moon. That's why it was placed there. For us in the ancient world to look up and see what day it is. Okay? If you had no calendar whatsoever, how would you be able to tell time? Or how would you be able to tell what day it is? If you had no calendar whatsoever, no modern calendar. You see? But with Yahweh Shem Shah, he always sets something up. Okay? That's why the scripture says in the evening and the morning were this day, in the evening and the morning were that day. The day starts in the evening. Why? Because you look up and you look at that moon and you say, that's what day it is. And that starts the day. Not what these people say starts the day as in 12 a.m. Okay? No. All right. So again, we go back. All right. Again, we do these lessons because, you'll always have another individual out there that never heard of these things. All right. And shalom, Ak, Yahbashim El Shabrakata to you too, bro. Shalom to the Akim, So going back to verse 8 again, the month is called after her name, increasing wonderfully in her changing, being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of heaven. So that's how we keep our high holy days. Now, I have to go back to Leviticus. Leviticus 23 and verse, I'll start at verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Yashar'Allah, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feast. 6 days shall work be done, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of rest, and a holy convocation, Salakia, a holy convocation. Ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. Verse 4. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons, in their proper times. Verse 5. In the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. Now, I have to stress this point. Don't get confused when you read this. It says 14th day, but it says of the first month at even. All right. So we know that at even, it says is the Lord's what? Passover. Okay. That starts the high holy day and the feast of unleavened bread. Okay. It starts the Passover and the feast of unleavened bread, which will take place 7 whole days, starting with the first day. All right. But like I said, do not get confused when you see this, when it says in the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. What it means is the 15th day, because the very next verse, it says it. So picture the 14th day and then going all the way saying at even. I know it may seem like a little wordplay, but that's how it's written. Okay. Whenever you see a day that says, for example, if you see the 20th day and then they say at even, that's really the 21st day. Okay. When they say the 25th day, and then they say at even, that's really the 26th day. Right? Whenever they say at even, it's really that other day, and it's going to say it. Verse 6, it says, And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. Okay, in the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. Right? See, it says, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord 7 days, even Salaka, 7 days, jumping ahead. In the 7th day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. And I'm going to explain that as well. Right? Now, the first day, all right, is a what? Go back up here. The first day, ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. So this day is treated as a Sabbath day. And guess what? It is a Sabbath day. Okay? It actually is a Sabbath day because if you know anything about the scriptures, the new moon starts the new month, which is also a Sabbath. Then you have 7 days later, right? 7 days later on the 8th day, that's another Sabbath, right? And then 7 days later from that, on the 15th day is another Sabbath, right? Because remember, we read earlier up in the scriptures that 6 days shall work be done, but on the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. So every 7 days is a Sabbath. All right. But when do they start? They would have to start with the month, as we brought it out earlier. Everything has an order. Everything has an order. They start with the month. All right. In the month, the new moon is also a Sabbath as well. All right. You'll have the time at the end of the month where it seems like you're almost having a back-to-back Sabbath, aka like this coming week. Right? Our Sabbath right now is every what? Tuesday to Wednesday. Right? So this coming week is still going to be Tuesday to Wednesday. And then 2 days later, Thursday to Friday, is going to be the new moon Sabbath. Why? Because it's a new month. The previous month, we knocked out all our Sabbaths. Think of it like that. The previous month, we've knocked out all our Sabbaths, right? Then it refreshes and we start again with a new month. And then guess what? Every 7 days, Sabbath. Every 7 days, Sabbath. Every 7 days, Sabbath. So don't look at it as, wait a minute, but the last day is a Sabbath. Shouldn't we wait 7 more days? No, right? Because we have to eventually start a new month. Then that starts a Sabbath on and on and on. You see, it's not hard. It's a system that the Lord set up. That's why we read earlier, it says the moon is the month is called after her name. Okay. And you notice it's a new moon, which is also a new month, which is a refreshed month. It starts over. It's not hard, but people make it hard. And they make it hard because the Lord is not dealing with them. Okay. Or some of them, the Lord is not dealing with them at that time. Okay. Because you're going to have some of the elect that's just not going to get it until the Lord wakes their mind up to get it. Right? So I'm going to go down. It says, yeah, like the brother said, Khan easily can confuse that with using the Gregorian calendar. Exactly. With the Gregorian calendar, that can mess you all up, right? But I'm going to show you something, all right? Especially if you're new, I'm going to show you something that I kind of done over the years. I used to get up and use a board, and I used to draw it and used to put a camera on it. Now I'm doing it on the computer. I don't have to get up. I still got my board hanging on the wall right now, right? I don't have to do that anymore by hand and hold up the phone and take a video. Now I can just do it right on the computer, and I'm going to show you, right? Show you very simple how you can use this method even in the Gregorian calendar so you don't get confused, right? So remember, in the 14th day of the first month at even is the Lord's Passover. Verse 6, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Lord. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. Now I'm going to get to it. All right, now I'm going to get to the calendar. All right. I'm going to blow this up so you can see it better. Now you notice right here, you see, I don't know if you can see it. My mouse moving. Let me see. Um, I don't know if you can see the mouse. Okay, I see it a little bit on the screen right there. Okay. All right. So you see my mouse moving right here. So I did this quickly on Word, and I add text real quick, right? Now notice the coming uh Sabbath, right? Of this week. Notice the Gregorian calendar. You have Wednesday the 26th, right? Then you have Thursday, which I have it blocked, but you know, if this is the 26th, obviously this day is the 27th Thursday. So the 27th Thursday, right, is actually the first day of our month, of the first day of the first month of the Hebrew calendar, right? And then we believe on that in faith, okay? And by what? The moon. Because when you look on a new moon calendar, right, you know that the new moon comes in on Thursday evening to Friday evening. Okay, so we have it new moon. I titled it New Moon right here, New Moon Sabbath. And of course, the Lashawan Kodash, how you say it in the Hebrew, is Shabbath. It's not Shabbat. Like you see a lot of times people say Shabbat. It's not Shabbat. Shabbat means clan or tribe. It's another meaning for the word Shabbat as well. Okay, it slips me right now, but I know one of the main definitions for Shabbat is tribe or clan. It's not Shabbat. Okay, it's not the Amalek or the so-called Jews way of saying it. It's Shabbath. Okay, Shabbath, right? So new moon Sabbath, also known as also a Shabbath, which is the first day of our what? Month. Okay, the Hebrew month. Now, you notice this line, this green line I have right here. Now I have it at the towards the end. You notice it says Thursday at the top, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I have it at the end of what? The Thursday block. Why do I have it at the end? It represents evening. And you notice it goes all the way into the Friday, all right? And it stops right there. So this represents evening all the way to evening. Why? Because right here, I have it again. This represents this evening over here on the Friday, all the way until the next evening, okay? Remember, evening starts our days. So right here, from Thursday to Friday, is the first day of the month, right? So the second day of the month, right, is what? Friday to Saturday. That's the second day of the month, right? Don't even at this point right now, don't even worry about the Gregorian calendar. You can always pick it up later. Now, since we have no dates right here, of course, I'm gonna bring up the next page. Right? Now here, right? Continuing on from this evening to evening, this will represent what? The Saturday evening into Sunday. But notice I don't have anything over here on this side because I have it over here. So you don't get confused. So evening to evening, which will really be from here all the way to here, right? That's the third day, right? So this line is the third day. Right here, evening to evening, the fourth day. Right here on Monday, the 3rd of March, evening to evening is the fifth day. The next day, evening to evening is the sixth day. The next day, evening to evening is the seventh day. And guess what? We have evening to evening again, which is the eighth day, which we brought out before is what? A Sabbath, right? Because we had our new moon Sabbath, then you count 7 days, you have another Sabbath. From number 1, you count 7 days, you get number 8, right? So the 8th day of our the first month is a Sabbath. That's another Sabbath, right? So we're going to keep going. The next day is the 9th day, there's the 10th day, 11th day, 12th day, 13th day, 14th day, 15th day, right? which this 15th day is another Sabbath, is also the start of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Passover, right? You see how it lines up? You see how it lines up perfectly? All right. When you do the math and use the new moon calendar, so the 15th day of the month of our Hebrew month is going to be on Thursday, starting at Thursday evening on March 13th. March 13th starts the Passover at evening on March 13th. Now you notice this blue line I have underneath here, that actually represents the first day of the Passover, right? So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, which the seventh day of the Passover is Wednesday evening, and it goes all the way into Thursday evening. That's the last day of the Passover. This day is also a holy convocation, as we have read in the scriptures. Remember, when you go back to the scriptures, it says, right? But Leviticus 23:8, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahweh 7 days. In the seventh day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. So the seventh day should be treated as a Sabbath, right? The seventh day is also treated as a Sabbath, right? So that will be Wednesday evening into Thursday evening is treated as a Sabbath. And guess what? The very next day after the last day of the Passover starts another Sabbath. It's our actual Sabbath of the month, which is the 22nd day of the month. So right there is almost treated as a back-to-back Sabbath. The last day of the feast, and then the very next day is another Sabbath. You see, it's very easy, right? Using this evening to evening method with these little bars that I've made over the years. That way you won't get confused with the Gregorian calendar, right? It's so simple because our days start at evening, right? And they end at evening because the next day starts at evening, right? Very simple. All right. I just wanted to point that out. Okay. That's how you know the Passover is coming in come March the 13th, right? But I also want to get this, right? The Salaki, let me pull it up. This is Exodus 12 and 14, Feast of Unleavened Bread. And this day shall be unto you for a memorial, and ye shall keep it a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. Ye shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. So you should be putting away any leavening agents out of your house. Leaven, yeast, baking soda, stuff like that. Leavening agents. Okay? Do not overdo it as far as lose your mind by going to these different sites, because you won't be able to eat anything. There's some sites out there that say strawberries got yeast on them. Then they say it's yeast in the air. It's stuff, you'll be bugged out. But the easiest way, if you see a product that has leavening, yeast, baking soda, or other terms for baking soda like sodium bicarbonate, stuff like that, when you see those different things, don't get it. When you see it, if you have it in your house, throw it away or take it outside of your house. Okay? All right? If you happen to see it later on, you forgot to throw it away, you see it, get rid of it. Remember, don't eat anything with any leavening in it, right? And that's the physical aspect of the Passover, right? And I'm gonna keep reading. It says, "For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel, aka Yasha Allah. And in the first day there should be an holy convocation, and in the seventh day there should be an holy convocation to you. No manner of work shall be done in them, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you." Now we know in this captivity, some men and women out there, we're going to have to actually go to work even on those days. All right. we have to pray to Yahweh Shem Shai for forgiveness. But we do know that what we can do is not eat anything with leavening in it. But remember, I told you that's the physical aspect of it. The spiritual aspect of leaven is to what? Get rid of wickedness. Because notice what I said. I said that we got to pray to the Lord for forgiveness. Here it is. We're not eating anything with leaven, but it's possible that you will work on that day. Well, if you work on that day, it's really death. When you consider a Sabbath day, working on a Sabbath, you're really supposed to die, right? But we know that in this captivity, we need mercy. So we, like I said earlier, there where we rehearse the righteous acts, we're trying to the best of our ability. That's why this time around is really more so about the leaven of wickedness and malice that we need to be concerned with. Yes, do we try not to eat leaven? If we have it in our houses, we take it away. We try not to eat the leaven, but the real leaven is right. Is trying not to be wicked and sin, getting rid of them old sins and habits. And I'm gonna get the scripture. This is 1 Corinthians 5 and verse 6. It says, "Your glorying is not good. Know ye not that a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump? Purge out therefore the old leaven, that ye may be a new lump, as ye are unleavened." See, we got to purge out the old leaven, because a little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Okay? And I'm going to show you what the leaven is. It says, "For even Hamashiach, Yahushai, our Passover, is sacrificed for us." When you think about it, we're in a continual Passover. Okay? It's not just the Passover that's coming up. We're in a continual Passover. We got to constantly cut out the old leaven, because a little leaven can make that bread still rise. And we're trying to stay unleavened. Okay? We don't want to be leavened. So let's get what the leaven is. Verse 8, "Therefore let us keep the feast not with old leaven, neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth." Like I said, we want to stay unleavened. We want to be sincere and have some truth. We want to have faith in Yahweh Shem Shai to the best of our ability. That's the unleavened bread that we're striving to be all the way until the end. Okay? When it says Yahushua, our Passover is sacrificed unto us, we want to be that unleavened bread all the way until the end, so that we don't be destroyed, so that we have that mark on us and we don't get destroyed when that death angel comes through. Because just like in the land of Egypt, when a death angel came through, it's going to be a death angel coming through in the new Egypt. This time, it's going to be thermonuclear missiles hitting all those that don't have the blood on their doorpost. What is that blood on the doorpost? Ezekiel 9, right? Ezekiel 9 and 4. "And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst of thee." We have to set a mark on the foreheads of men that sigh and that cry. And when you go into this mark here, like I said, we've always gone over these things, but there's always somebody out there that may not know, right, at this particular time of the elect. So they have to be taught. You go into this word mark, it's a tha and a wa. So it's the wa, right? Desire mark, mark as a sign of exemption from judgment. See, that mark is an exemption from judgment, just like in ancient Egypt when the blood was on the doorpost. In Shalom, Akia Yahaba Shemel Shabrakta, Memphis, this mark is a sign of exemption from judgment, just like in ancient Egypt when we had to put the blood on the doorpost. Now we need that blood on our minds, on our spirit, so that we can be exempt. That death angel can pass over us. What does that mean now? So that when the chariots come, we can be picked up and we don't have to be killed by that death angel, okay? AKA the nuclear missiles, man. Remember, the nuclear missiles are going to hit their mark, as the scriptures say. That means the angels are guiding them missiles off the order of Yahweh Shemel Shai. All those missiles are going to hit their mark. And if you don't have that thawah, right, on your doorpost, aka on your mind and your spirit, that death angel is going to destroy you with them thermonuclear missiles, man. And you want to be caught out there like that, right? This is Isaiah 26:20. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. That's us going into the chariots, Lord willing. We know that the elect are going to go into the chariots. We just pray that we're of the elect. It says, come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers and shut thy doors about thee. Hide thyself as it were for a little moment until the indignation be overpassed. Let's look up this overpassed in the Hebrew, right? Overpassed is I, ba, and ra. I bar. Now let's get it in the whole text, because I said this before. They have the root word of it, I bar, but in the scriptures actually Yah I bar. Okay, so it's not just to pass, it's overpass, right? Pass over. It says pass over, or by, or through. Pass over, cross over, march over. Okay, you see, to pass over, right? And what is this being passed over right here? The indignation is being passed over. Just like during the time of Egypt with that blood on the doorpost. That indignation of death was passed over all those who had the mark on the door. It passed right past us and got everybody else who didn't have the mark. So we want to have this spiritual mark from judgment so that we go into the chariot and that we are passed over from what? The nuclear missiles. Right? All over again. All right? Let me see. I think I had something else. Let me see. Bear with me. Yeah, because I brought that out. Salakia. Because I brought that out of the leaven. Yeah, Khan, the leaven, that's really the leaven that we trying to purge is the sin and wickedness, man. Okay? Of course, are we going to try to keep this to the best of our ability and get rid of leaven in our houses, actual leaven during this time? Absolutely. But remember, the real leaven that we got to work on, which is a part of the continual Passover, is the leaven of malice and wickedness. We got to get rid of that, Akim. Anything that's holding us back from getting on that chariot, we got to get rid of it. Like some brothers said in different camps, all right, it's a different camp of brothers that brought up about the Passover recently. We want to be the best version of ourselves. That means we got to constantly purge out the leaven, because a little leaven makes the whole lump rise anyway. And we can't have that whatsoever. So this is another video to keep in mind. Keep this in your live. Keep this in your spirit. The coming Passover of 2025. We're going to the actual Passover on its way. But also remember that we're in a continual Passover all the way until Yahweh Shem Yahushua comes back. All the way until the Lord returns, man. Call Haloyim, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and shalom to the elect. As always, I say, double shalom.